about the capital flows.
Okay, right, we've got it. CRR hiked by 50 basis points. That's the first news that we've got coming out of the RBI. So the CRR has gone up, and it's gone up by significantly more than what the market expectation was. 50 basis points. So that's double of what the markets expected, of what analysts expected. So that's the RBI's attempt to suck out excess liquidity from the markets. We'll go over live to Ira Duggal, who's there with us, RBI Governor YV Reddy, and she'll give us the breaking news as it happens. RBI hikes CRR by 50 basis points. Arindo.
Right, CRR hiked by 50 basis points, and Ira's there with us. Ira, very quickly, I can see that reverse repo rate has not been changed, but CRR hiked.
Absolutely, on CRR hiked by 50 basis points to 7.5%, a little more than expectations. No change in the repo rate, that's held at 7.75%, and no change in the reverse repo rate, which is held at 6%. Let me just quickly tell you why they've said that. They said that the current liquidity situation demands another CRR hike, which is why this 50 basis points has been added. From November 10th is when this goes into effect. Just a couple of quick statements that they made on the liquidity situation. They're saying that monetary policy will not only have to address the current liquidity overhang, but also the incremental flows if they persist at current levels. So they're clearly quite worried about the fact that these flows will persist at the current levels. Also saying that the conditions of surplus liquidity warrant an appropriate response in order to ensure orderly market conditions. So their focus right now remains on liquidity management. On the inflation front, they're saying things are looking good. There's been considerable success in moderating inflation. However, they are raising a red flag on the high food prices globally, the high oil prices globally, and the high asset prices in India. They're saying that these three factors have the potential of feeding into future inflation, and hence they will continue to focus on price stability. Just quickly, a lot of
second, and after that we'll come back to you. Just show the BankX. It's down 105 points. It's down 100, and it was up 75 points when we went into it, and that announcement has taken it down by 175 points overall. Rita, coming back to you. Go on.
Right, I was just pointing out that there's a lot of emphasis on the developing global situation. For one, they've said that the impact of the US subprime crisis still needs to be figured out. There's still a lot of fear, and they say there's a view out there that there is a possibility of widespread financial contagion. So clearly they are worried about the impact. They go on to say that following the Fed's cut of 50 basis points last month, a lot more liquidity has been generated in developed markets like the US, like Europe, and a lot of that liquidity is finding its way into emerging markets such as India. So they're worried about that becoming a worrying factor in the days ahead, and that perhaps is what they're trying to address when they're preemptively hiking the CRR by another 50 basis points. They're also going on to say that all global developments will be watched very carefully, and let me just quickly run you through the stance of the monetary policy before you get analysis. They're saying they will reinforce the emphasis on price stability and well-anchored inflation expectations. They will also re-emphasize orderly conditions in the financial markets for securing macroeconomic and financial stability. They're saying they will respond swiftly to all possible measures, to evolving global and domestic situations, and they're saying they stand ready to take recourse to all possible options for maintaining this stability. So clearly a clear focus on liquidity management. They're worried about the capital flows. They don't think that SEBI's measures are likely to have a large enough impact, and they from their end will continue to try and suck out liquidity. Money supply, they keep pointing out, remains much higher than projections, and that of course has the potential to feed into inflation at a future date, and that remains their core focus if you look at the stance, the tone and the tenor of this policy. Anand?
The rupee has weakened against the dollar as you spoke, but the Sensex, which had crashed almost more than 200 points, is up now a little bit. It's recovered slightly. It's still down. It's down about 118 points, but the BankX, that's where the real hit has come.